What's up, YouTube? Welcome to my first video. Please be gentle, fun. We're finally breaking that ice. Anyway, going to do an in-depth look at this game, Chrono Ark. Fairly new. Came out at the end of 2019. It's a roguelite deck building game with RPG elements. Came out of Korea, I believe, and the translations are alright, but they're about what you would expect. I noticed the game's a bit punishing, and some folks are struggling, so I thought maybe I could give a hand. So, this is not my first run. I've been playing for several hours. The character you see on the screen is Lucy. She's the first character you use. Okay. This is the interface. It's a bit barren right now because we're in the time arc right now. Here's the lab. As you do runs, you get credits, which you can unlock things for future runs. And when you finish off a category, there's 3 categories here: general, items, and skills. New stuff shows up. Yeah, I just want to comment about that on another video. Not sure if it shows up right away or if it shows up after a run, but definitely new stuff. I've gone through the item set at least twice now. Yes, the cabinet. I don't know why there's one in the Ark. You put relics in here from your run to gain constant effects. Anyway, this is the start of a run. I have all the characters unlocked. You only start with a few, though. Namely, Hein, Joey, Azir, and Azar, rather, and Leon. I believe those are the 4 you start with. And as you play and do different things, you unlock more characters. They have general classes. DPS, I guess, or damage dealers have swords. Healers have the little healing sign, and tanks have the shield. But the roles aren't that hard set. I mean, everybody's a little unique, and you can sort of customize them any way you want to go. And once you've picked them and leveled them up a few times in the game, selected some of their skills, you can see what the skills are. They become available to browse before you actually pick somebody. Let's see if I have some that I haven't looked at yet. Yeah, see, like, this is what they all show up as if you haven't seen the card before. But if you've seen it, then you can browse it at your leisure. Now, all of the skills, skills, are divided into 2 main categories in this game. You've got normal skills, which have this purple diamond with the mana cost in it. And then swiftness skills, which are blue diamonds. And a lot of the information in this game are in the tooltips, and I strongly advise, as you're playing through, to mouse over everything and read carefully. Make sure you understand what each thing does, because interaction with the mechanics in the game is very important, especially in your early runs, because in your early runs you're going to be struggling quite a bit. The difference between these 2 main categories is that the purple, the normal cards or skills, they will trigger a countdown, basically. Each opponent has an action counter next to their HP bar that has a number on it, and for each regular skill you play, that counter goes down by 1. When it gets to 0, they act immediately. Those enemies do. If you end turn, they will act anyway. However, the swiftness skill ignores that. Secondly, these normal cards trigger something called overload. And if you play a normal card for a specific character, that character gets overload of 1. You play a second one, the overload goes up even further. For each overload, cards from that specific character go up in cost, in mana cost. But again, not so with swiftness. So, I mean, it should be self-evident that swiftness cards seem much more desirable than regular cards at this point. With that in mind, my standard starting party is a couple of aggressive characters. Like Trisha here is my main DPS, and the reason is she has her two main cards that I use are both swiftness, right? And then her normal cards are 0 cost base. There's a lot of interplay here, and we'll go through them a little more specifically. Like Shadow Stab is my go-to for boss fights. Everything else, it's Shadow Slash. Because Shadow Slash can be played multiple times as long as you're targeting undamaged enemies. And it says there in the tooltip, can be cast multiple times to an undamaged target. And it also ignores taunt. Then it also applies a debuff at the bottom. And I'm not sure if other streamers and YouTubers have seen this, but any effect in this game, be it a buff or debuff, has a yellow parentheses on it. If you look at the bottom here in the pink box, it says being critically hit 1/3. That means that that card puts that many stacks of a maximum of 3 on the target. So for this one, it's critical hit chance. So this is a crit debuff on the enemy. It makes all the incoming attacks have a higher crit chance. And its rate of being applied is 100%, and that's based on the character statistic. So if we hit one enemy with 3 Shadow Slashes, then it's going to apply the debuff 3 times for 30% extra crit chance. And in the upper right of the pink box is how long that buff or debuff lasts. So we have a 3 with a circle. That's a turn counter. So for 3 turns, this buff will be applied, or debuff will be applied. So Trisha accelerates crits, right? And then when you look at Shadow Stab, the first time you look at it, you see damage amount 4, cost of 2. It doesn't seem that great, but then if you look at the rest, this card applies taunt to its target. I don't mean that the target will then target, that your enemy will then target Trish. No, it hands them the taunt ability. And while that might not seem desirable, there are plenty of cases where a boss will summon adds that have taunt, so you can't hit the boss. However, if you give the boss taunt with this card, you can then hit the boss or the other targets. If everything has taunt, then it's the same as none of them having taunt. Secondly, it applies a permanent buff for the fight to Trisha. A great damage amplifier. 15% attack damage, 12% crit chance, 8% accuracy. And it stacks 3 times per fight. That's phenomenal. Trisha can buff herself up to 45% damage, 36% crit chance, and 24% accuracy with just this card. However, it does have one time. In the upper right, you see one time. That means you only can play each incarnation of Shadow Stab once per fight. However, if you level her up a bunch, you could get 3 Shadow Stabs. It's not that hard. That's usually my goal, is 3 Shadow Stabs, 2 Shadow Slashes, and then 1 Apply Bandage is fixed for her. And the Apply Bandage is a heal that will also remove one of the 3 categories of debuffs. And if you have none of Trisha's cards in your hand, it'll pull one of hers from the deck, which is very useful, especially if you're looking for the Shadow Slash. So that's my main damage dealer, Trisha. I mean, Hein is great for, you know, groups of enemies, that's what it says, but his swiftness cards are not as desirable. He can amplify his damage at the cost of taking more damage. He can put barriers on himself, but at the cost of discarding an extra card. And he can debuff the enemy, giving them less evade, higher crit chance, disabling their taunt, and lowering their speed. And the speed mechanic is what affects the turn counter on enemies. Your party speed and their speed. So, for instance, if an enemy's default speed of 0, their action counter would be a 2. If your party speed was, say, a 1, then that counter would go up to 3. But if your speed counter for your party was -1, the enemy's turn counter would be down to 1 for that same action. So that's a fairly powerful mechanic, and there's a few pieces of equipment that have negative speed, and I think the Berserker Axe is one of them. Has -2 speed. I hate that thing. I hate it. And some have plus speed. Rapier or Longsword, one of those two, which is very desirable. There's a lot of time management in this game. Every fight has a inherent clock on it, the fog. And if the fog becomes active, then your run is going to be in trouble in any particular fight. Because every turn, once the fog is active, your party takes damage, your healing is negated, and you lose your healing gauge, a bit of it, extra every turn. So the faster you can end a fight, the better. At least that's my thought. Yeah, I haven't played much with Hein. I don't really feel he does the DPS job as well as the other characters. Azar has some instances where he excels, but he has 0 standard Swift cards, and that's probably because of his passive. His passive, Hollowed Swords, gives you a bunch of 0-cost swiftness attacks. But, as I said, we want as many swiftness cards in our deck as possible, and we want to deal the most damage as possible per turn. So I tend to steer away from Azar as soon as I can. Yeah. My second starting party member is Sizz, not Fizz. Sizz. You get Sizz when you beat the Witch, one of the first bosses, 4 times in total. And Sizz is amazing for her passive, this doll, Eve. Without explaining too much, we'll just say Eve amplifies your damage greatly when you use her right. And she can buff Eve's damage with this attack Incise. I usually make this a fixed skill and get her a second one. And then we have a couple abilities like Help Eve, which is a swift skill for 1 cost. That puts a barrier on a target lasting 2 turns. The barriers always stack, and this can be cast multiple times in a turn. And then I usually take Regenerate Wound, which, if you're using on a target that already has Eve on it, refunds the mana cost, gives a little healing, but mainly all of our abilities here we use just to re-enable or enhance the passive skill, Eve. I steer away from this card. This seems bad to me. This is alright. The Guard Eve. Anyway. I could do a more in-depth look at all of these characters, but I'm just going to stick with my normal strat for this video. So I go with Trist, and I go with Sizz, and we head on out to the first stage, the early park. Misty Garden, stage 1. Not a full stage, more like a half stage. Something to note, after this stage, every stage is going to have 2 chests that require keys. And there will also be a hidden treasure on every stage as well. That's the boss area, next to the gazebo. Opening battles you shouldn't concern yourself too much about. this healing bar here. As long as we finish the fight without taking additional damage, we don't have to worry about that too much. Yeah, see that time counter counted down. She got hit. It's important to always use your shuffle. You only get one per turn. It's important to always use it, I think. And if you can, to use your fixed skills. But keep in mind about that overcost thing. Overload, yeah. What do we get? Gambler ring. Crit chance, less accuracy. That's fine. That's fine. It's just a green item. Green items are not that important. We're looking for blue or better on any given run. But a little benefit is usually helpful. I usually level her up first. In the first stage, I level up both characters. And Shadow Slash is always my primary. I might even go with 2 right out the gate. Yeah, that seems about right. Potential damage with that is amazing. And see, its damage is not as good as a regular attack. It's 1 less. But remember, swiftness. I misplayed that. I should have healed. I had plenty of leeway for it. Oh, yeah. This is an enchanting book. Thing about the enchanting books, the blue enchants you get from it, here, we'll enchant this, because you get 1 free. Be a waste not to. They're not that great. They're always little. This is probably one of the better one. Armor pens. 12% armor penetration. And there's this hidden thing in the game. If you talk to the person outside the research lab, occasionally they'll bring up about some secret conditions you could get for more powerful enchants at the library or in a book. And with that in mind, I figured it out. There are golden enchants in this game, but the conditions are pretty stringent. You have to have an unidentified cursed item and then enchant it. A Kangax, you're saying. How am I supposed to know it's cursed? That's just it. You don't. It's a gamble. Unless you have a relic, the Cursed Pharaoh Mask, that makes every item cursed. Then it's not a gamble. And while the golden enchants are a lot more powerful and always beneficial, because there are some blue enchants that are negatives rather than positives, it does retain the unequip status that you have normally on a cursed item. So keep that in mind when you finally do have a golden enchant, or think you do, that you can't move the item once you put it on somebody. Ooh. Do we do the Help Eve? Or the Incise? We'll take the Help Eve. I think that's more important. I want 2 Help Eves and a Regenerate Wound, 2 Incises. Yeah. What we got? 1 left? Let's go. First boss. Not that big a deal. Let's see. We don't have any attacks for Sizz. We don't have any. So we're gonna roll this and try to find one. Oh, we didn't get one. That's okay. So he's got 9+. He's got a Burly Shield. Remember about the tooltips. Always read them, right? And also, in the upper right, we have a status box. Very important status box. Whenever you're targeting something, let's say an attack, like this, the status box will tell you everything you need to know. It tells you the enemy's resistances, what their statistics are. See, this guy has Burly Shield, so he blocks when attacked. Because he's blocking 100%, it says that this guy's armor is 100%, right? And the accuracy is 93. That's my character's base accuracy because of that rig. So we're going to use the Shadow Slash here. But we want Eve, the little doll, to go over here first. Then we hit with Shadow Slash, and Eve hits. Right. So now, if I target this guy, that armor's gone away. Right? Pretty nice. Oh, Trisha passive just triggered. This is what I like about an aggressive party. So we've got a barrier now here. And we've got him to half-life, despite him negating an attack on the first turn. Ooh, bleeding. Sick. So, again, we want to trigger Eve. So what we're going to do is, we're going to heal to trigger the Eve. Then we're going to Shadow Slash, and Eve's going to whop him. Right? But he wasn't at full. So we're going to help Eve to trigger Eve again for next turn, right? And we can't roll this, because this is an exclude card now. Since we used this once, even though you can use it multiple times in a turn, this happens with all the cards like that. Shadow Slash like this. Instead of being the same card, the base card goes away, and a copy with exclude gets put in your hand. Why is that important? Well, that agility card that you start with in every run, if you use it on a card like Help Eve or on Shadow Slash, it only will affect the first time you use it. And then later on if you redraw that card. Yeah. Well, there's that Burly Shield again. So we're going to re-roll. We got our basic attack here. So, do we heal? He's at 20. I don't think we heal. I think we just kill him. Yeah? And there's the first boss. And at the end of combat, you heal up your heal bar. All the green comes back. So, see, I actually beat this first boss. No sweat. And we healed a little bit. Yeah. That's an aggressive tactic is beneficial for that reason. Because of that, what's it called? The heal gauge. The temporary damage. Oh, nice. Enchanting ring. Free mana. We like it. And a more advanced strat that I tend to use dealing with scrolls and potions is I'll save them up until the second stage and then try to get high efficiency out of scrolls. We'll see more of that when we get there. The in-between level. There's always this save book, the display case for relics, and a campfire. Every other level, you'll also have an angel statue, which recharges Lucy's necklace, which is your one revive per stage or every other stage item. Yeah. And you only get to request help twice per run. So you hope for some good RNG, right? And we wanted a tank and probably Pressel, the other healer. It's probably what we wanted. Pressel helps a lot with one specific boss fight later on. The twins, they apply a tremendous amount of debuffs, and Pressel, one of her main cards, can remove up to 2 debuffs per use. Very useful again in that fight. Since I don't have my preferential characters here, we're gonna go with Joey just to identify potions. Really, we're gonna make him a healer, although we don't need a lot of healing with this strategy. Something I like to do is level up your mana at least one higher than the number of party members you have. So we got a third person, we want our mana at 4. And then we go for cards we want. Let's see. What's he got? We got a healing vapor, party healing with regeneration. We've got single target healing regeneration. I think this is a pretty good pick. We're gonna go with the healing potion for now. Oh, here we go. We can compare both of his party heals. So they cost the same. They're both standard actions. They both have a heal over time and a base heal. This one heals more base and has a higher heal over time. This one has a lower base but has continual healing. It also has one time, which means you only can use it once and then it gets removed from your deck for that fight. And it blocks a debuff that an ally cannot resist. Not all debuffs can be resisted. Some can't be removed. But that's why this heals less. That debuff block. That's really important. Like, this heals quite a bit more, and you look at the parentheses down there, it stacks up to 10 times. You could heal everyone in the party for 30 per turn with this card if you had enough of it, and it was all you played. But you would still lose a fight with that much healing, because by the time you stacked it up, the fog would overwhelm you, and healing would get reduced to 0. Yeah. So the most important thing here would be the debuff removal. I like the healing potion as my fixed action for Joey, even though it costs 2. What do we got left? 2 soul stones? We need 3 for a level up. These 2 are my damage dealers. Joey can have the ring. More mana equals good. Oh. Yeah, you see this? This is fairly suspicious. There's a hidden treasure on every map, every stage, and it's usually in a place like this, or in a place like this square if you look at this map. It's adjoining 2 paths, but it wouldn't connect them. Like, this hex above me would connect 2 separated paths. This one would not, because there's a path directly next to it. To reveal them, you have to use a mapping scroll, or just randomly use a lifting or purifying scroll and hope that you're adjacent to that secret treasure, which can be viable. I mean, sometimes you get 5 or 6 of those things, lifting scrolls. Here we are, 2 enemies with taunt, 4 turns on the fog. Lots and lots of targets. Yeah? Well, we don't have our card grab yet, and we also don't have... I rolled the wrong attack. There's a lot we don't have for our kit yet, so we're going to be struggling a little bit early on. Notice that these guys have a 1 on their action counter. The moment I use a normal ability, these 2 guys are going to go. And she's got 3. But we have this. We have a help Eve. So we're going to start by using the help Eve there. And then I think we'll use this basic attack. Maybe this will kill him. Oh, he's got some dodge. Right. Bad accuracy. That was unfortunate. We'll use a basic heal. Fine. After this fight, I'm gonna address the stat gains for the 3 different types of characters. There we go. That's better. We didn't get the help Eve, but this should do it. This should be just fine. We'll apply crit to you, apply crit to you. Do we kill him too? Yeah. We just finish her off. And then, how much? 12? Yeah, we'll try to finish him off too. Yep. That barrier, doing work. Everybody's at full. Look at this. It's ridiculous. Let me just knock him out. We got... What do we get for potions? Since we have Joey, our potions get automatically identified. Some potions can be used on bosses, specifically the negatives, like this weakening potion. It says can be used during a battle. Other ones like this, see it says luck decrease. It does not have that clause. Can be used during a battle. So this is just trash. We'll look for a giant mysterious jar to throw that in later on. This is a permanent buff. You know what? We're just going to use that on Joey now. He's the only one who really benefits from that. So, your damage dealers. As they level up, you can see the stats there in white down below. They gain no armor. They gain no armor, and they start with no armor. So there's no damage mitigation for these guys. However, they do start with evade, and they do gain evade, as well as crit chance. And every class gains +5 on the resists for all 3 categories per level. The highest gain is on attack for your damage dealers. Right. And it's similar for healers, if I remember correctly. Yeah, healers are the same way as damage dealers. They don't gain armor. At least not very often. Tanks don't gain evade. They start with low or negative evade and gain armor as they level up. Direct damage mitigation. So, alternatively to having a tank who taunts everything, we can have a damage dealer with a bunch of evade. Just to get through those first couple rounds of a fight where they might take damage without finishing off the enemies. Now we can level up one person. I think... Oh, that's not good. We didn't get a Shadow Stab or her Apply Bandage. But we can go with the Shadow Curtain, and we can hope... We're going to make that her default. We can hope to find a tree to help her forget. I don't think we will, though. Those trees tend to only show up in the very first stage for some reason. Well, we are down to 2 path fights. So this is something I like to do. Typically when my inventory is full, but I'm going to do it now for demonstration purposes. You get your unknown scrolls, and in case you have a purifying or a lifting scroll, you want to be on a hex that could have a secret hex next to it. So to the south, to the east here, it looks pretty convincing. Like, it could be this suspicious hex over here, but if it's a purifying scroll, I want to really prioritize killing the enemy with it. Okay, that was a lifting scroll. Once you use a scroll once, the rest of the incidents of that scroll are identified in a run, so we have no problem with that. That was a looting scroll, just free loot. We got a second lifting scroll. And then we have an enchanting scroll. We're going to save that enchanting scroll. The identifying and enchanting scrolls you can cancel. What happened to the enemy? That was unusual. The lifting scroll apparently... Oh no, that wasn't a loot scroll. That was a purifying scroll, that second one that I used. My goodness. I am out of it. Oh, something to note. You see how if I mouse over this, it's got the capital E in parentheses? It means I can press the E key to loot all. And that's what I typically do, rather than using the mouse. A little more efficient, since you move around with ASWD anyway. Second boss. This is the first real boss of the game in this second stage. Second level of the first stage. However you want to call it. Usually this one is the witch. Here's a shop. Hopefully she's got 2 keys. She does. If she has keys, that's your priority. Every stage will have 2 chests that require a key. She also has an unknown scroll. And we know that this unknown scroll cannot be a lifting, an enchanting, or a purifying scroll, because we've already gotten those. And it's different from this one, I think. Well, no. We look real close, that's the same one. So instead of purchasing this, we're just going to see what we get. Okay, that's an identification scroll. Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take the lifting scroll, too. Very useful. The shopkeeper's prices are fixed. They're always the same. Could have leveled up there. Pretty confident I'm alright, though. So, we have Help Eve, and only an attack on these 2 people, right? So, this guy has Taunt. We have to fight him first. This guy is going to do an AoE attack, Pharaoh's Mage, more than likely. Right after I use the next ability. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Help Eve here. And then we're going to attack. Eliminate that one. Take a little bit of damage. Oh, they dodged. Nice. Well, I guess we'll Shadow Curtain. Not much else we can do on this turn. Get her focus. No damage, really. Okay. So, this does 12. Eve does, I think, 5 or 6 right now. We have a Shadow Slash, so we're gonna use the Help Eve, move the doll over, use the Shadow Slash for free, do 19. Use Help Eve again, re-enable that doll, use Shadow Slash again. See, and that chain of events right there, that chain of skills was all swiftness. So we got no extra cost for mana. We didn't let the enemy go. It's a far cry from standard play in this game. Thief's Ring. Evade. Very nice. Damage received. Can be used in battle. That's a debuff potion. Weakening debuff. And resist. That's great for Trisha. She's going to be applying... Ooh. Yep, more attack. She's a carry. Skill book. Generic skills can be learned by anybody through books. I haven't found many that are worth it. Early in the game, it's nice to use a couple to replace the starter cards, which are subpar. Who's got the... Well, he's going to be more of a healer than she is. Yeah, we'll give it to him, just to get out of the inventory. Not much else you can do with those, other than throw them in the mysterious jar. Yeah. So, what we have left now is Forge and the boss, I believe. You can quick travel too using this map. I probably should be doing that more. I feel like we're wasting people's time. You can right click the preview as well. Yeah. That's alright. That's not worth 300. So, the thing about the Forge, you can convert items, equipment, and you can also reforge and have a chance to get a higher tier. This is how we dispose of green and blue equipments. So we've got a lifestone here, which is not bad, and we have this penetrating gambler's ring as well, even though it's enchanted. I think it's better to re-roll greens because the game usually gives you plenty of blues and other more desirable items if you go farther into a run. So I like to re-roll these things. Greens and whites. We only get greens half the time, but that's alright. We can use that with him. Make him a bit more tanky. A bit more resistant to stuns. Off to the witch we go. Make sure you level up before you get into a fight with a boss. Very important. There's our incise. We got 3 more. We could level up Joey, or Trish, or Sizz. And we're going to set this to default. It's fixed, definitely. That's a really important skill to have. Still looking for the shadow stab, and the apply bandage. We didn't get a shadow stab, the thing that buffs all of her damage, but we did get applied bandage. So we have a new fix for her. That's going to be very helpful in this boss fight. Not the witch. It's the module golem. This guy can be very mean. But again, if you mouse over, read the tooltips, you should figure it out rather quickly. It'll be fine. See, he puts 2 cards in your hand on destruction module and 1 on upgrade module. Right. So what we want to do is we either want to discard or play destruction modules. Every time. And we have 4 mana to work with. So I want to get rid of one of these right away. We're going to trash that card. The basic heal we can utilize without costing anything. So here's what we do. We incise. We use Eve's damage, we buff Eve's damage. Then we grab this basic heal and we use it on Trish. Then we hit her with the Shadow Slash. Do a considerable amount of damage. Now that might seem inefficient, but this will stay empowered next round. And the cost should go down too, I think. No, it says it gets discarded. Oh well. Another thing is, bosses are when you want to bring out your temporary items. Really? Really when you want to do it. Oh? This would be fine. Let's weaken him. He's taking 10% more damage. Yeah. Don't really need to use the extra 8 damage just yet. That's a debuff cure. Only 1 category. But we're going to use that, because he likes to swing and hit your whole party at the end of the first round. Yeah, there's that earthquake. Yeah. So, we have a shadow curtain, right? And we're going to use that here. And now, if she uses this heal, it'll pull another card for her. But we only have 4 mana to work with, and we want to utilize Eve and buff her. So now Eve is buffed twice, and you saw the damage there. That's pretty ridiculous, right? So, I can't use both of these, and we use the fix skill, so we can't use the apply bandage. Now is a good time to heal and get that debuff prevention. Get our empowered module. We got a 0 cost here. Just free damage. Now he'll earthquake again, I see. And we're on death's door. This guy's pretty brutal, not gonna lie. So, here's the plan here. We still have a buff there. We're gonna use her heal to pull a card. Then, we're going to use, say, that there. Yeah, and we get a new skill to create. This looks like a good skill. We need some healing here. Eve's already active, so we get the hit, improved crit chance. We still have a help Eve. And we're going to apply that here. And then we're going to apply it here. And we're planning ahead for the next turn. He might single target somebody. Nobody's at death's door. He might AoE. But next turn, we're going to want to buff Eve again. That means we're going to want to use this fixed skill. It means at the end of the turn, we want Eve to be active on Sizz. So, we heal. Just like this. We have a resuscitation, but we're not going to use it first. Keep in mind what our plan is. We want to do as much damage every turn as possible. We have no cards for Trisha, so this can pull one out of the deck, as well as heal and put Eve on somebody ready to hit. We only have the one attack, though, and we want to buff Eve, so that's the attack we do, and we do it first. 2 mana left. We're going to hit Resuscitation on ourself. And we get a free apply bandage. That's fairly useful. See, now we can get a free attack. We can get an attack out of the deck for Trisha, move Ev over, and give her a heal. And if there were a debuff that were pain, we could remove that too. See, it's pretty great. Oh, 1 card in deck. Yeah, no attack to pull. Well, might as well use it. Yeah, we'll bury her. I have a feeling he's gonna go for Joey. He did not. Tried to stun her. Well, full deck. We have a basic attack, and it's active here on Joey. 5 mana, because our ring procced. This seems like a good idea. So we're going to hit first. If we use the Incise, we can't use the bandage. I think we should use the bandage. We activate. We hit. And then next turn, we'll probably use the Incise. But we have 3 mana, right? So we're going to use it on him first. We get a chemical weapon for 0. Or we get a heal. We'll take the 0. We'll plan for next turn with this. We really want to bury her up. That's what we want to do. And we want Eve to be on Sizz, because she's going to use her passive next turn first. So we can put barriers on everybody. That's that gray box down there, and why their HP is a little wonky. Now, because I use this, we can't rotate it to get a new card. But it's not a big deal. So, we hit, do some damage, get some intoxication, extra 10 damage per turn. And we can heal her. Why her? Well, we think we were going to get an attack from her. We were hoping for an attack from her. But we did not. So, we have 2 mana left. We have a basic heal we have to use, which is going to move Eve over to somebody. We can heal everybody, but it only affects 2 people. So it's better to use the single targets in situations like this. I think we'll use Trish next turn again. Or we'll use Sizz. Sizz would probably work better here. So this heals for 13, this heals for 11. This also gives increased armor. We'll use this one first, heal him up, give him a little bit more armor. And he's got a barrier still. And then we'll heal her. We'll get Eve active, ready for the next turn. See, we're taking less damage now. Pretty interesting how this works, right? Now, it looks like the fight's over. We're doing 14. Eve is going to do about 13 or 14. Plenty of damage to finish him off. Right? And after the boss, we'll heal at the campfire a considerable amount. Whatever isn't healed, we can make up at the early fights of the next stage. So, this guy, while he seems intimidating, he's not the only boss like this. There's a tank that is very similar. We'll put all 3 or 4 of your people at death's door in one go. Just blam. But don't panic. Then don't try to overheal them either that first turn. It's okay to leave them at death's door. As long as you finish the fight or use taunts. Just be smart about it. Hunter's Ring. We got an attack. Huh. Not really what I was hoping for. I actually don't like these. This is on an okay ring, but we're focusing on aggression. This is also an okay ring. But I would rather have a chance... I'd rather have a chance at a purple or one of the better blues in the game. So we're going to put this in first. Cross your fingers. And we get Throwing Dagger. See, this is much better. Much, much better. For our damage dealer, Trisha. So, she's up to 20 already. Yeah, it scales pretty fast. What are we looking for? A second in size. Yeah. Shadow Stab. But I think we want to increase our mana. Choices. Yeah, we're going to increase our mana next. Just preemptively. Last check before we leave. Make sure there's nothing we forgot about at the shop. Items are always overpriced at the shop. They're never really worth it. Because the keys are always 600. And you're guaranteed a piece of equipment from that key. So Joey almost healed to full. And I don't like using food items during a stage. But we might as well. We have plenty. We'll use one, heal him up to full. Now we don't have to worry about overhealing him in the first combat. We can just focus on damage. Here's the angel statue I was talking about. Had I needed to use Lucy's necklace to resurrect somebody from faint, we could recharge it here. Oh, I did unlock this extra ability. We can change somebody, we can relearn somebody's skills. I think it was just one skill we can relearn. And stuff here, like, their skills are alright. If anything, I'd want to forget the Shadow Curtain. And I know what you're thinking. That seems pretty good. An automatic evade, one time, 0 cost. But again, it's a standard skill. It's not a swiftness skill. We'd much prefer to have another attack for Trisha. Her Shadow Stab. So we might as well... Oh, I misclicked. Well, next one. Next time, we'll forget that one skill. Hopefully get the stab. I haven't used that ability yet. Not sure what it's going to do. There's a mighty suspicious circle. Right there. We still haven't identified the mapping scroll yet. Or the swiftness, or the loot. There's like 7 scrolls in the game, so if you know what they are, you can sort of keep track of what they are beforehand. And with an idea of what's left, we can judge on whether or not to use it and where to use it. This is not a bad item. This is a really good item for our damage dealer, but it's not worth the price. That's the unfortunate thing. The enchanting scroll would be useful if we had Pharaoh's relic, but for now we don't. So, swiftness, mapping, and loot. Now, none of those 3 that are left are going to be affected by where I'm standing, because we already used the purifying and we already used the lifting, so we'll just use it. Oh, I forgot about teleport. Again, not affected by where we're standing. So now we know that this other scroll the shopkeeper has is a teleport scroll. See? It went from unidentified to teleport. Pretty nice. We have 2 keys and plenty of places to explore here. Plenty of free loot to gather up. Attack skill, smite. See what we get for loot. Another enchanted ring, but unidentified. This is what we want. That's what we're looking for. We don't want to equip this. If there's a book on this stage, we're going to enchant that thing. We don't know if it's cursed. We can't find out if it's cursed. We just have to trust in RNG. How's our draw now? Let's see. They go. Now see, this is why we want swiftness. These 2 guys here, they act in one go. They act really quickly. Right? So, how do we do this? Here's what we do. We're going to make that free and swift. We're going to start with our Shadow Slash. We could utilize Eve, but we only got 5 mana to work with. So what we're going to do is we're going to spread our damage with the Shadow Slash first. There's a lot you can do with just the Shadow Slash. And we already killed this guy. Pretty nuts. So what we're going to do is now we're going to enable Eve. And we know that Shadow Slash is capable of getting rid of these 2. So we're going to do our max damage over here. And now he's in range of being murdered. So now we can reshuffle a card. We get a basic attack that's free because of her passive. And it's up to you on who you want to get rid of first. This guy tends to do multiple hit attacks. He'll hit 2 out of 3, 2 out of 4 characters. So I've got more priority on him. This little guy only hits 1 person. And they have a lot of armor. 80%. I think that's the max default your characters can have. Oh, right. We can't hit him because of his haunt. Quite alright. It's a free attack. So he gets to go once. But we can heal and activate Eve for next turn. Oh, I could have used the acid potion. That's a good point. But as long as we finish this fight without people losing their health bar gauge, there's no real worry. Not really. Now, if you mouse over this, broken. See, 2 people have this from that enemy with the Pumpkinhead Giant, and every time they use a skill, they take 2 damage. Also, it's got that purple skull. That means that it's a pain debuff. And if you look, see, this says pain debuff. I can get rid of this by using an herb. I could also get rid of this by using the supply bandage, because it removes the debuff. So, with 4 mana, Here's our plan. We'll use the apply debuff, the apply bandage, remove the debuff on our Sizz. We have a help Eve. This will pull an attack, hopefully, out of the deck. Probably another Shadow Slash. And we can help Eve here and use that attack to get rid of this guy. So it's good to think stuff out. However, because this is a normal skill, these two guys are going to act. Yeah. So it might be better to eliminate one first. We'll do that. A little bit of damage is okay. We've got 3 more turns yet. We can actually use this on ourselves now to do everything we were talking about. Yeah. Now, I could use this, but because I haven't cast it at all, it won't go away. We could put a barrier on, get Eve ready for the next round, but in this case, it's probably better not to. Well, he's taking a lot of damage. Quite a bit. We may have to resuscitate. Did not get an attack. She'll take a little bit of damage. So here's what we'll do. We'll start with the help Eve here. We've got to resuscitate, so that's not a big deal. We'll try to get rid of him. Did not do it. Hits for 12. We've got 2 mana left. And a reroll for Shadow Curtain. That's fine. Gotta heal him up. And I'm a little worried. Here. So we're gonna do this. It's all about efficiency. We do have 2 targets here with full HP. So with Eve active, we'll see if we can't eliminate them. Now this guy, when he blows up, he stuns everybody. Or he does 5... Oh, this is the 5 damage guy. That's fine. 5 more damage. It doesn't matter if we do it first or second. Not really. We have 2 cards to use. If he takes 1 damage, he's done. So we have 2 extra mana to use. So our choice is healing potion for 15 or heal for 10. And I think we'll heal for 10. That sounds good. So I've really slowed down how I normally play this for this video, and I hope it's not too slow for you guys. I really want to do an in-depth look at this for you, cover the bases. We've got a healing power potion. That's pretty good. Holy water. We've got a scepter, which helps with healing. It also makes them more liable to be hit by stuns, but less liable to be hit by pain debuffs, which are damage over times, or that broken debuff we just had. He's the main healer, so he's gonna get that. What else is on this stage? Well, we got another fight. I think we're gonna go with the mana. More mana the better. More mana the better this works. Now here's a fight where we can really excel with a little bit of luck. So we're gonna roll this out. We did not get what we were looking for. And we do have 2 people acting right away. So I think we're gonna start with this. We're gonna enable that. She gets hit by a stigma, increasing the aggro. We do need to heal quite a bit. for this fight. Unfortunately, we got both Help Eves and no Shadow Slashes, or else we would have really pumped out some damage. We do have 3 and 2 Help Eves. This is a good time to put a barrier on everybody and pick where we want this to go. We're more than likely going to get 1 or 2 Shadow Slashes next turn. So, we're going to start by burying this guy. We want to end up burying Trisha last, because we know next turn we want to Shadow Slash at least 2 guys. We'll probably get 2 more enemies. There we go. There we go. That's pretty useful. Right there. He's gonna act and he's gonna act. Not too worried about that. We still didn't get the Shadow Slash, so we're gonna have to find it. But we do have a basic attack. So we're gonna eliminate this balloon guy first. We have 7 mana. Or 6. We have 6 mana thanks to the ring. And then we're going to re-enable and pull a Shadow Slash. There it is. Time to do ridiculous things. Hit once. Hit twice. Now there's only 1 guy left with full life if we want to keep the Shadow Slash, but we're doing 17 damage, and this guy hits twice really hard, so we want to get rid of him. Oh, well, that was unfortunate. That 25% armor put us just under. Yeah, like I said, he hits really hard, so it's worth it to eliminate him. What do we got? Oh yeah, stuff to throw into the urn. Now, because of that heal early on, we're regenerating, but only for 2 more turns. Once the fog rolls in, we're gonna have some issues. So, I think what we want to do here is we want well, we always re-roll first. We're always going to re-roll first. We get nothing but his. Okay, well, we don't want to incise. There's only 1 card left. We know it's a Shadow Slash. And we want it more than anything here. We could start with the stun or the heal. Let's start with the heal. Even though she missed with the base, Eve managed to kill the balloon all on their own. Now, this person's back at full. Pretty hilarious, right? We have 4 mana. So we have a bunch of stuff here we can do. I think we're going to re-enable and get the most damage we can out of this guy. Let's see. Stunning here, probably fine. We got 1 of them with the stun, 2 of ourselves. And stun, you see, is the 2nd category of debuff. So we can't remove that with this item. And we can't remove it with Trish's Apply Bandage. However, you can discard a card, as it says here, to instantly disable it. So we're going to do that. We're going to throw away that card, enable this, and go for, hopefully, enough damage to get rid of one of these guys. He already went, so he has no action counter, so she's got a higher priority. Oh, we forgot. We forgot to use our Eve first. What a misplay. We use that up. We use that up. No more barrier. Everybody's at full. Seems fine to me. He brought another balloon in. And that one's bigger. So, we don't need 2 Help Eves. We get a basic heal. Right. We'll use this first. We'll use her basic attack to eliminate this guy. We can use this heal here, get a Shadow Slash. And her passive is on 3. That means that if I do this right, we can easily eliminate these guys. Yep. We lost a little bit of HP. That's okay though. Rather than wasting this, no, we can just use it. That was a loot scroll. So, we have 4 lifting scrolls here. No purifying. These are not that great. And we know that there's a secret chest somewhere on this stage. Oh, here's the urn. Perfect. My inventory was just becoming a bit crowded. Haven't figured out exactly how this jar works. But we have plenty of stuff to throw into it. There's no use for these things. We get a book. Ooh, rapier. One of the best blue items in the game. One of the best items in the game, actually. Plus speed, crit chance, and attack. We couldn't ask for a better item for our carry. Look at that. Now we can throw away all these skill books. We'll likely get a potion. I don't know why we get potions from skill books, but that seems to be the case. We can also put food in, but that tends to just heal our group. Yeah. So, another useless potion. And I don't really use holy water that often, so we'll just gamble on it. Alright. We can put these things in as well, but I wouldn't recommend that. Unless you're really full on inventory and you got some white items or green items that are really bad, I wouldn't recommend putting that in there. Equipment is just valuable enough to not throw away. So, we look around. We have one more fight. And here is another suspicious square. This is probably the most suspicious to me. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to try to find the secret scroll, or the secret stash, without knowing where it is. I've got quite a few lifting, and so I'm on a hex adjoining 2 hexes I believe should be the secret, but it's not. So, this one might be it, but we verified those 2. We'll do one more fight. We might have to level, actually. Just our base stats are feeling a little non-plus. Yeah, let's do that. Let's get that Shadow Stab. That is a very important card for her. Do we get our free mana? We do not. We have 2 Shadow Slashes. Well, let's just go to town. Well, I know that one isn't enough. Let's apply Help Eve. Dodged. Wow. Alright. And 27. That crit chance, so nice. So nice. We'll get back our lost HP. We don't really need the resuscitate, so we'll go looking for something else. Deck management is a huge part of this game. And that's why I don't really like Joey and some of the starting characters. Now, Shadow Stab is free and a quick attack. We have room, though, to utilize this guy, Eve, right here. We're going to do that first. And before they get a chance to act, we're going to utilize this stab. And its base damage is 4, but we're doing 8. With a decently high crit chance, 26%. So, we're going to use that on him. Oh, we should have used it there because of the apply taunt. There's so many effects, it's hard to keep track. We'll let them go. Let's see how they do. Get rid of an enemy. Now the fog hasn't showed up here on the right, but it's likely still there. In this stage, it's hard to judge if you've got a long fight or not. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Gotta help Eve in a shadow curtain, but I think that'll be adequate. Considering everybody gets a barrier. Focusing the healer. Solid strategy. Basic attack for Joey. Doing 11. Well, we may as well do a bit of healing here. If he misses, she'll finish it. Soulstone? Yet more. Oh, we have a forge. Another forge. Huh. Well, back to the shop, I suppose. Enchanting, teleport. Don't really care about the teleport. The enchanting, though, that might end up being useful. And I am getting a bit impatient on this one. So, what we're going to do, I'm not sure if this works with the enchanting scroll or not to get the golden enchant, but we're going to try it right here, doing it live. We will enchant this guy. Now, if he was cursed, we'll know it, because this will have a gold enchant. If it wasn't cursed and had just a regular enchant, we've sort of wasted it. That's the risk you take, though, going for golden enchants. I think we'd rather have this one on Joey. So it was cursed. Yeah, the scroll doesn't work. It was a cursed item. And unfortunately, scrolls of enchanting do not make a gold enchant. You have to use one of the points of interest in the game, the enchanting book, the library. So that's verified. It also has a bad enchant on it too, with the curse. So we're going to use the lifting scroll to get rid of that curse. At the same time, we're going to stand next to the suspicious hex and see if that's the treasure. Oh, it's not. What do you know? They might have updated and moved that around. I was getting them almost every time on the first try. Seems they've changed the generation procedure for those hidden treasures now. I'm going to need mapping to reliably get them. But just because I've done it twice now, and I don't really need a lot of lifting scrolls, we're going to do it one more time. Oh, we did lift the curse on this, by the way, and it's now attack -1. How unfortunate. It's not here either. Interesting. I guarantee you, though, there is a hidden treasure on every level. Can't find it reliably, though, without a mapping scroll. Here's the tank, the other heavy hitter. Death's Door for everyone! Everyone gets Death's Door! Well, after he does that, scares you real bad, he doesn't attack. He doesn't do anything for 2 turns. And then he summons a minion. The Drums of Doom or something like that. It's the ability. Well, we've got a lot of things here. We do want to heal a bit, just to make sure, because I'm not sure how long this fight's going to go with Joey here. It's going to go a bit longer. So we're going to start with the Protecting Gas. Yes, they are very negative, but again, I am not too worried. I should have used that healing potion beforehand. That would have helped a bit. But mainly we want to focus on beating this guy up and keeping people above Death's Door. As long as they're above Death's Door, we don't care how hard they get hit. Just as long as they don't faint. So we're going to re-roll that. Try to get a little deeper in the deck. So we got a lot, I repeat, a lot of mana for this. And that means we can really abuse this Eve. We can really abuse it. And buffing is a good way to do that. However, he's going to summon a guy right away. So let's risk it. Here comes the drum roll of death. Try to debuff, 0 damage. Summons Parade Bot. Parade Bot does not have taunt. This guy has taunt because I hit him with the Shadow Stab. So, we have 2 attacks, and we're going to use Eve on both of these attacks. We're going to start with him, give him some barrier, and he's going to hit with Eve for a lot of damage. And then, we'll use the same thing on her. We'll just do that. Just like that. Yes, they're negative. Yes, this is a bit of a risk. But I think we'll be just fine. Now we have a Shadow Slash. And plenty of room here. So, we're going to use his passive. Oh, we're down to 1 out of 2. That's okay. We'll use his passive. Give her the doll. That way she can eliminate this ad in one go. Pretty impressive, right? And he is going to blow everybody up again, it looks like. Very quickly. We don't need 2 of these. That helps. So we're going to use Shadow Curtain on her, re-enable, so he can Shadow Slash, again with increased damage. And he's already down to 22. Pretty nuts, right? Get him positive, and he's about to act. So what does he do next? Drum roll of Weakening. He tries to debuff us. 0 damage debuff. See? He's not that scary. We're on turn 4, and he's almost gone already. Now to heal this little bit of damage, we could use and like the fixed skills, look for more heals, but there's a campfire after every boss. So we don't need to. We don't need to heal anything. We just need to finish him off. And Eve is ready to go. She's always ready to go. So, with little effort, the tank boss goes down. And we get a nice Assassin's Ring. And an item scroll. Free loot. Who doesn't like free loot? So, we already have 2 of the best items we can put on Trisha. 2 of the best. But we don't really need this extra mana. right? And we don't want his attack being negative either until we can get rid of that. So, well, maybe we want her critical strike chance up more than this person because all of her stuff increases critical strike chance, and we want her to be our main attacker. Once we get everything configured, we pretty much just want Trisha to be attacking. As a result, we may want to give this ring to Trisha. Like, these both have attack chance. And this is just a general DPS item. I think it's better to have some crit chance on Trisha, because she's already so high. She's already at 31%. And with a couple of Shadow Slashes and a Shadow Stab, this quickly gets above 60%. This will give her 12%. This will give up to 30% on an enemy. That's 42% more crit, ladies and gentlemen. That's 73. That's a lot of crit chance. A lot of crit chance. And this gives us crit damage. We want to stack all similar stats up on our individual units. That's our goal. Just be efficient. That's what we want. No angel statue. But I think we get to recruit here just before we go into the next big stage, Bloody Park. Yeah. So, last chance. Will we get a Pressel or an Iron Heart? We get both. We also get a Phoenix. I haven't used Phoenix yet, but I feel like Ironheart is a better use for this setup. Because we're going to combo a lot with Trist, we're going to use a lot of help Eves, putting barriers on Trist, just to enable the doll damage. And then she's going to be attacking. She'll end up with a whole bunch of barrier, and nobody else will. And this guy, Ironheart, he can spread that barrier to the whole party. In essence, make it a ×4 barrier. On the other hand, if we encounter the twins, which is fairly likely in Bloody Park with all their debuffs, Pressel is preferable. We do have a debuff removal right here and here, so let's go with Ironheart. I feel like he fits better with his overwhelming barrier. So overheals turn into barrier. I don't know, there's a few cards I haven't seen. There's a card I haven't seen from him yet. Huh. And then his, let's see, Not in My Sight. It's a minor swift heal that gives armor to all allies and healing gauge protection. Very useful. Very useful. We don't have to focus so much on healing if we have this. We can just let them take damage and finish a fight without any healing. And they'll go to full afterwards. And then Protective Shield. This gives a barrier to the whole party. And then Shield Bash. This is attack. I don't really use this. It removes barrier to do more damage. We could to get some explosive damage, but the harder fights in the game, you can't survive like this. You just can't do it. Weapon Breaker. A nice debuff attack with Swift. That removes some damage. Yeah. Duel is his taunt. And the target remains taunted so long as Ironheart hasn't hit them. Double armor. It's weird that this is his main card. This is the card I mainly use on him. And it's strange that it's question mark now. It's 2 mana, I believe, and makes barrier on one ally into barrier for the whole party. Spread shield or something like that. Very strange that that's gone to a question mark, because I know I have it. I know I've used it before. Anyway, we've got 5. And at this second campfire, it should be noted, your 4th party member gets 2 automatic level ups. So you don't have to worry about how much of these soul stones you have to level them up at this point. And not, like I said, not in my sight is the main card we're looking for this. Oh, it's Shockwave. Well, that's weird. His card, the card I used the most, is gone. And we have different cards now. Maybe they changed him. Maybe there's an update that I didn't see, and they've changed him. Huh. Overhealing becomes barrier. Spread shield. Yeah. Very strange. We want the not in my sight. Oh, we can't. That's right. Can't be fixed. We can do dual, though. Now, this has the basic attribute there in yellow. And that means that if we use other fixed skills, this fixed skill won't be disabled for the turn, which is very helpful. And also one of the reasons why Miss Chain seems to be so good, because a lot of her skills are basic. She has seemingly the most basic skills in the game. So just about anything you put on her fixed slot, you can use anytime. Yeah. A note about the draw skill. I feel like the draw skill is a bit of a debate. That's how I feel. I feel like adding more cards to the deck that Lucy can use to draw more cards isn't necessarily a good thing. And that if you manage your deck just so... There's our second incise. Now we'll start going. If you use proper etiquette, proper planning when you're designing your decks, you should have no problem with the number of cards in your hand. Still got this rough guy. Haven't seen an... We saw an enchanting book in an early stage, but not one since. Huh. There's another suspicious square. Hex. I don't recall seeing this completely circle arrangement when I was playing about a week ago. They might have done something to the procedural generation. Will she have 2 keys? She has 0 keys. Not good. Not good at all. There's a book. There's a library. Finally. We have no keys. The shopkeep did not want to sell us any. Another anvil, too. Wow. Huh. And a dead end. That's unusual. So many new things I'm seeing. Maybe once you beat the game or unlock all the characters, the game changes it up on you a little bit. That's probably Joker or Twins. But I make a habit of exploring every avenue on a map before I fight. Just to see what the options are. We should have a second chest here. No, we don't. Huh. That's right, we have 2 chests. Okay. We have 2 chests already. We have an enchanting book, we have an anvil, a shop, and a fight. So, let's see how we do now. Now that we have 2 incises. And we have our Shadow Slash, right? We have 6 mana. We can get rid of this basic heal just at the start. That's helpful. See, now we can use this we can... I feel like these guys are a bit of a waste to use the Shadow Slash on. So we buff once here, right? And we buff twice. And we've got a Not in My Sight. With 3 Shadow Slashes here. You just play your cards. We're doing a lot more damage now, and taking a lot less, for that matter. We get a clown. Well, we can activate here. If we use this, we can't pull another card from the deck for Trisha. But we're doing enough damage that this guy should fall over fairly easily. We can also taunt. But before we taunt, because it costs 2, we're going to use a Not in My Sight. Again. Give barrier. And we're taunting. So now, we don't have to worry about somebody else being hit. Easy peasy. So, we've got a bunch of things to stack up. And finish the guy off using Eve damage. Yeah. Take your time with this game. Best thing I can tell you. Look around. Make sure you read everything. Get a good understanding of it. Joey's still level 2. Yeah, I don't use him very much. We don't need a lot more healing. We have plenty of healing with just the gas is fixed, resuscitation, and Trisha's fixed skill. So we can go for the smog right here and hopefully do some debuffing. And some extra damage. But this makes the deck a bit burdensome, because the agility, we only get one of them. And we do have some basic stuff to get rid of yet. Sis has a basic heal still. And Ironheart's got basic heal, basic attack. We can only apply this to 1 per fight. And now, with this is a high priority target for the agility. Because it's 2 mana and it's non-swift, this is now a high priority target. But it's also an AoE attack. Which means that if we have Eve on him, she will only attack if this thing is only hitting 1 target, or if it kills all but 1 target. If it hits multiple, if there's more than 1 target and your attack hits multiple targets, then Eve won't, this doll won't do her thing. Bit complicated, I suppose, but definitely worth. So, we do have a forge. We do have this. Oh, see how this turns red? You can't have 2 of the exact same item. Like, this is Enchanted Ring. You can't put the exact same item twice on 1 character. Just something in the game. So, we have 1 green item. There's 2 items in the shop, but again, they're so expensive, they're not really worth it. I would rather save all this money, this gold, to buy 2 keys and some other stuff from the next shop than to use it trying to get items to throw away at a forge. That doesn't seem like a good idea to me. We might as well level him up, get him some passive stats again. And this will help tank without being a heal. This removes our barrier. But I think we just want another not in my sight. I think we want that. Well, you know, we could change it up. We could change it up. We still want to level up Sizz one more time to try to swap this basic heal out for regenerate wounds. And Joey is still only level 3. Now see, even though you don't have enough soul stones to level somebody up, you can still mouse over it, the level up button, and see what they gain. So, there's that. We have fights yet. Try to clear every fight in a map. This is also very important. The loot is invaluable, and you can get just about anything for the loot on fights. Let's see. 3 targets. Passive on Trisha is active. Shadow Slash. We have her Shadow Slash. We have her Protective Gas. Everybody's at full life and an agility. That might be alright. That might be just fine. We'll do that. We gain barrier thanks to Ironheart. So, what I don't need is this basic attack. I would rather have another Shadow Slash. Now, we do have room to use one attack. We have room to use one attack before we go into our little help Eve thing. But do we want to? Yeah, I think we do. So we're going to use one here, completely obliterate that person. Now this is a copy of that attack I used. It has exclude now. This one doesn't. It's a base one. So if we're going to use one, it's going to be this one with exclude. Although it's still free, technically. So, maximizing our performance here. They both attacked her. Didn't do much, though. A guy with taunt. Yep. I know what we can do with that, though. This has... yeah, okay. We'll help Eve. We got an exclude Shadow Slash. It just completely crit him out the game. And, 8 damage, huh? Well, let's use this. Why not? Give her taunt. One more skill use makes a free skill. So, we can use Shadow Slash twice. And we're doing 21 with a 43% crit chance. And she's already been hit, so it's 53. See the tooltip upper right? 53. She has an 11% chance to evade by default, but after our accuracy modifier, it should be at 98%. And she's been crit. But the fight isn't over, because we have this fog. So we can prep still. We can prep for the next round. And we'll do that. Turn 2 eliminated all the enemies. And in a good position to go further. So, we did not draw a Trisha skill. This would be a good time to utilize this. We're going to use it on Fizz. Oh, not one in the deck. Because we have an Incise in hand. We'd like to buff that. And then we have a Not in My Sight. Yep. Don't need basic attacks. We have, again, no cards to draw. But we have Weakening Smog. And we still have our taunt. Could gain barrier, but the healing gauge is still on full for everybody. We can't really heal much anymore. Don't really have much use for this. And the deck is refilled. So we could go get a Shadow Slash. However, with this basic attack, we can kill this guy. Yep. So I'm going to start speeding up now with my fights. It shouldn't be too hard to follow. I've gone through it. And there's our mapping scroll. Hey, we can get the secret treasure. Because we still have 2 lifting. Where was that other fight? This one? Yeah. This guy was open, right? No guard? Okay. Now, do I want to get the treasure first? Yeah, I guess I do. So with the mapping scroll, we now see the secret is right here. And as I was saying earlier, it's a hex that doesn't give you a shortcut on 2 disconnected paths. Like up here, all of these hexes between here, these 4, and this line, they're fairly disconnected. So I've never seen a hidden hex, a treasure hex, that would connect these, because then you could walk through. But it's probably possible. So I'm not holding my breath on that. Let's get the free money. It's 1,000 gold. Very nice. I just wish the shopkeep had keys. Yeah. See, now I am tempted to re-roll these things. That's how it goes, though. We could increase... Yeah. We could increase mana. Let's do that. Let's increase our mana. We have up to 8 mana a turn now. It's sort of a breaking point, getting that high. We don't really want you. We got a Shadow Stab. Okay. Well, let's pile all of our stuff onto her. Let's pull out Guaranteed to get that. Oh no! Yeah, we should get rid of that Shadow Curtain. That's in our way. What other attacks do we have? Protecting Gas? We want to do this first. We got to make sure we don't get our healing gauge messed up for 2 turns. But now... we could use the Protective Curtain on Joey. And then... Did I re-roll his attack, or am I seeing things? Don't know. That's decent first turn. Ooh, perfect. Stigma. Increased aggro. We want everybody to hit Iron Heart anyway. 3 targets full HP. And we've got to help Eve. Dodged. Oh, wow. We have another basic attack, yes? We do. She just used her freebie, huh? Alright. Well, Resuscitate seems useless here. Damage, damage, damage. You're doing 16? You're doing 21. Although if we crit... Let's murder him. 43% chance. Well, you gotta try. The clowns giggle. It's what they do. We got a protective shield. That is a lot. That is a lot of barrier. And because of that help Eve, we have a lot of barrier on Trisha, as I was saying before. We should have another Shadow Slash in there, and we would like to have it, but at the same time, I don't think we need this shield. There's the Shadow Slash. Yeah. Huh. This is an attack, does just enough damage. And we'll play another Not My Sight. Keep that up. We'll just save this for whatever comes out. Perfect. 4 and 6. Well, it seems like a waste, but we'll do it anyway. We'll use Incise, and we'll hit this guy with the Incise. We can actually use the Help Eve to improve our damage here significantly. We get him to 3. So Joey can finish him off without much help. Help Eve. Enable a fully empowered Eve, dealing 10 additional damage. And a Shadow Slash. Puts him at 15 already. Very nice. With a crit. Now the crit isn't so important on these. All these extra damage buffs we're getting aren't so important on the regular fights. Until you get to the last stage, White Graveyard. But they are very useful on the bosses. Because they last a long time. All this money, there's no reason why I shouldn't re-enchant this thing. And try to get something useful. That's fairly useful. So we're going to put this here. And we want to enchant any of our damage effects. We have all this money. So, also, because I just learned about that enchanting scroll deal, I think we're going to start with the scroll, actually. Penetrating. Like it. I like it. Good. What's this one? Teleport. That goes into an urn. No real use. What do we get? Sacred. Not that useful. Shiny. Again with the healing power. Now these were both on Marcari, our damage dealer. So these are really subpar. That's more like it. We got Sharp. More crit chance. This actually does have crit chance. So I could reroll, but there's a good chance I'll get a negative enchantment. There's negative damage, negative speed, there's negative attack damage. The rough enchant is -1 attack. And yeah, I'd rather have the positive 3% crit chance and the 1 healing power for her fixed skill than re-rolling into a bad one and having to spend upwards of 1,200 gold to get it right again. So this is adequate. This is adequate. And now she's at 39% crit base. That's pretty impressive. So, leveling Joey up, we could find something useful, maybe? Is this one time? It is not. The protecting gas is one time. But we don't need a lot of healing. As you've seen, we really don't. The bosses are the only ones that really put anyone in danger, and if we beat the boss, we healed practically the full at the campfire anyway. And we have free necklace refills. Yeah. She's got 5 cards. This is probably my priority. I want to get rid of the Shadow Curtain and just give her another Shadow Stab. because we keep pulling non-attack cards with the apply bandage. No fights left, right? Yeah, we've been in the shop. We have no keys. The boss might give us keys. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. I keep forgetting to use the healing power potion just to get it out. Time Eater. This guy. When you beat one of his ads, the Rewinding Gear, you get a card called Rewind Gear that replays all of the actions of one character that they played in a single turn, which is very, very useful. So, we want to get rid of this. We gotta help Eve. This is perfect. It's perfect. Active Eve at the start, all 3 attacks. What we're gonna do is, we're gonna hit him. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put all our spare damage on him. We're gonna use our Shadow Stab to up our damage first. Keep using the Help Eve. And now we'll go after with 10% Eve damage buff, Shadow Stab buff. We're gonna Shadow Slash. And hopefully defeat using more Help Eve. And again, the exclude version of the Slash. We do. We finish him off. Now, we have a Shadow Curtain. So we can actually use our Shadow Curtain to reactivate this one more time. And we can use this Exclude. Oh, well, if we use the Exclude, we'll be out of mana. And these Rewinding Gears go away after 2 turns. So this is the best play. We're going to use Shadow Stab with Eve again. We're going to use Shadow Slash on one, Shadow Slash from the other one, and then Shadow Curtain on a random target. But now she has Shadow Sick, or Time Rewind Gear Sickness, which we can't take off. So she can't use another Rewinding Gear for 5 turns. That means that next turn we're going to look to do a bunch of attacks with our backup damage dealer, Sizz. Fizz? Sizz? Yeah. Eve Girl. Ouch. He did not like all that damage. Also, something to note about this guy, if you read the tooltip, you don't want any mana left over at the end of a round. Period. None. It's a bad idea. Well, we're going to be using 2 basics, so we don't really want this basic heal here. We don't want that. So we got a Not in My Sight. And this is going to be very important to survive the round. So that's 1. We're going to save 1 for the Rewinding Gear. This is going to, it's going to cost 4 to use both Incises. And then the Rewinding Gear would make 5. So unfortunately, I can't activate my Eve for any of these attacks. And I can't use my Shadow Slashes either. But it's definitely still worth to buff up that Eve damage. Lots of barriers going up. Oh, it's for the whole combat. I misread that. I definitely misread that. So now he should summon more ads. After he's done swinging at people. We have almost a 40-point barrier on Trisha. I think she's okay. We have a Shadow Slash in hand. A fully buffed... It's the same as turn 1. Hilarious, right? Same as turn 1, only we can't use the Rewinding Gear again. So, we will help Eve. we'll use our Shadow Slash. Help Eve again. Use our Shadow Slash. Help Eve again. We just keep stacking it up. Use a Shadow Slash on Big Boy now. Doing a whopping 49 damage to him. And we have 2 mana left. So now is a good time to heal, I suppose, or taunt. And I think healing is the way to go here. Resuscitate. Like, he's going to act in 2... He's going to do something in 2 basic attacks. We only have 2 mana. So the best bet here is likely resuscitate our Big Boy. And then using this excluded Help Eve to activate Eve on somebody and apply some barrier. We have a reshuffle. There's no reason not to. There's a weakening Smog. So he hits, and he hits again. He puts some people at death's door. But because of that not in my sight, we didn't lose any of our healing gauge. Lost none of it. So who's got the most abilities they can use? Let's see. We definitely want to use this. Definitely. We have a protecting gas and a weakening Smog, but we don't have any more targeted abilities other than the rewinding gear itself. And they're both gone this turn, so we want to use one of them. We have 4. We have 4. Unfortunately, this would cost 5 because they're both standard abilities. And we can't re-roll this into something. So we have to pick between our Shadow Slash, because we're looking for that agility. And I think it's okay. Well, that works. We can use this now. Well, no, that doesn't work. This heals the caster. It's a risk. Big risk. I think we want a protecting gas, though. So we're going to use our protecting gas. We're going to use a rewinding gear on him. We did lose our not in my sight debuff, so it might be pertinent to use that as well. But if we do, we're sort of SOL. Alright. So regular attack, rewinding gear. Do the things. Went to full life. Free damage. Faint impact. She's gone to death's door at -23. Interesting. He resisted the debuff. He can rewind again. Huh. First things first, though. We have to not in my sight again. We just have to. And then, I think what we want to do is give her some heal. And now we got our Shadow Slash again. We likely are going to get, because of her Shadow Stab doubled up, we're likely going to crit at least one of these guys out without the extra Eve damage even. So we'll start with that. Just see what happens. And this is not quite free. And we're going to use this on the weakening Smog, high priority. We're going to use all of our energy. So we're going to re-roll this. We get an Incise. Which we would like to use. Eve's active. We want to keep Eve buff up. And we have 2 left. What I think I want to do is use the weakening smog. And we can't rewind gear on either of these two. So we're going to rewind on him again. And he guarded it again. What do you know? Even though we're at -1, we should be fine. We have no pain debuffs, no damage coming. Oh, he got her. Well done, boss. Well done. Don't really need the resuscitate here. I'd rather have the not in my sight. We're going to Shadow Slash this guy because we want to use a heal and pull another Shadow Slash. Yes. And our debuff is gone. So we can actually rewinding gear and have her bust him up and use a random heal on somebody. Oh, crits. He's gone. What do you know? We get a relic. Time storage. Gain extra mana next turn if you end the turn with remaining mana. Wow. I don't really need that much mana on the secondary turns. Now, the thing is, if I don't revive her from faint, she will revive on the campfire. So you don't got to worry about that. But there's an angel statue, so I might as well use it and give her some extra HP. That's my thought. Let's up the healing on Joey. We did not get a key. We do have identification scroll. Might as well use it. This is our swiftness. Swiftness raises our party's speed, which allows us to do more standard actions before the enemies act with their counters. No keys. Very rare. This might be the first time I've gotten 0 keys at all. We have plenty of food. But we do want to keep about 4 in case we see Altar of Greed. One of the random points of interest in this game. To activate a relic, you have to put it in the display case between levels. Yeah. I've gotten 2 forges in the last 2 stages. If I hadn't gotten so many forges, I might actually carry this relic with me and try to re-roll it. But just to test out the Pharaoh's Mask or some other relic. We have an abundance of gold this run. Well, there is an unguarded enchanting table. Hopefully we'll get some keys and some unidentified items. 8 mana. Yeah, let's level her up. Let's get that second Shadow Stab. Now, with the second Shadow Stab, you can actually... Well, you're supposed to be able to forget skills, but I guess you can only forget basic skills or skills learned from a book. Either way, we want to stack up this damage. Shopkeep, 1 key. Item scrolls have a very good chance of giving me more gold than they cost, so good idea to get them. You can always look at items that give skills beforehand. And this isn't too bad a heal. It's got swiftness. It's better than the basic healer attack. So, just for the sake of argument, we're going to buy this. It's not great, but it's better than what he has. So now we can... Oh, it automatically forgets basic kills. Basic heals and basic attacks. Yeah. Boss right here. Got a fight there. 1 key. Item scroll. 1 gold less than we paid. And resuscitation. Yeah. Okay. Free chest. Come on, unidentified item. Look at that! We got a purple unidentified item. High attack value. Decent accuracy. Weakening resist. See, purples and oranges are the way to go. They are just great. We're going to immediately go here. And we're going to hope that this is cursed. Please be cursed. It's still unidentified. But if it was cursed, it will now have a gold enchant. And it's damage, but not crit. So it goes on our backup. This is where we put it. Was not cursed. Oh well. Worth a shot. Health decrease. Stuff to throw away at luck decrease. So many bad items. The game just gives you so many. We're at White Graveyard. So this is the final level. At least the final stage. And we've got some really beefy enemies to deal with. Really beefy. We're going to reroll this. We re-rolled that because we wanted a Shadow Slash. And we wanted to get rid of any cards Trisha might have that aren't Shadow Slash or other abilities. So, to start out, we're going to make this Incise stronger. Then we're going to heal like so to grab an attack. The next standard action is going to trigger both of them to act. So instead of using my Shadow Slash, I'd rather use it with Eve. Instead of using this, we're going to use a Protective Shield to absorb the damage, just because. And then we're going to get Eve enabled, and Pump Art carries damage. Protective gas is an option here, but I think we'd rather just keep hitting this guy. Hello, second assassin type person. Don't really want this. Now we're cooking. 8 mana. We are cooking. Watch this. She's at 1. It only cost us a couple mana. She's at 1. Pretty ridiculous, right, folks? We have 3 left. So we can't use this attack and this attack. Only one or the other. However, we have no cards left for Trisha. So we can enable Eve here. And we can Shadow Stab for 9. And we can ignore Taunt with this too. So we used up all our mana. We got Barrier. Everybody has at least a heal gauge up to full life. The only thing we haven't... Oh, he died. Wow. And we got a key. Nice. The only thing we didn't have was the Not in My Sight. 3,000 gold again. Goodness. It's the urn. We can throw away the trash. We can throw it away. I think it's time to level Joey up. He's taking a lot of damage. Second heal potion for single target. Yeah, we can do that. Get rid of our basic heal. Either of these are fine. The Guard Eve or the Regenerate Wound. But we're nearing the end of the run, so that's much better to have. We might go to 7 mana if they give us enough. Lots of enemies, lots of strong enemies. See, when you finally get this far in the game, they throw this stuff at you. Not cool. Well, we want to heal him. We do. And we're going to start with a Not in My Sight. And we're going to use this guy here. And then we've got a Help Eve. And we're actually going to use Shadow Stab on this wolf here. Because 2 taunters are here, we want to give taunt to this guy so that other people can finish him off. She is going to get a freebie here, so... See if we can't murder that one. Nope, unfortunately not. We want to keep the Shadow Slash for the next round. Because we still have a full HP guy. So there it is. Round of attacks come. We don't have a Help Eve. We do have a Resuscitation. And she has a Broken. So again, we're going to start with this. Spread Shield. Keep this up for 2 turns. Keep our armor up. This might hurt a little bit, but we have Barrier. We can crit this guy. We can hopefully kill one of these guys. We'll try this one. No? Ah well. Give us our other ability. Doing 10. Perfect. And we have nothing left, but we don't plan on healing. Not really. Almost never plan on healing. So long as this guy is running, we don't have to worry too much. Now we have Eve here. So really, this becomes free. And this is practically free as well. Got our Shadow Slash back. We can't hit this guy, but we can Shadow Slash him. So we might as well get rid of the damage dealers in their party. We use a taunt on our taunter. Protective Shield. And finally our Healing Hands. Because it's the end of the turn, this gives Overload. We don't care too much about the Overload. And overheals are becoming barriers thanks to his passive. So we're really protecting our characters. We don't need the protecting. There's an Incise. Well, let's kill that guy. Kill that guy. We can help Eve here. We can help Eve here. Plenty of barrier. We still got plenty of time to just finish off the last guy. Shadow Curtain. Not very useful. However, Eve is very strong. Hopefully we get another cursed item. Oh, another shot at a cursed item. That's a very good item, too. Luck increase. Perfect. Time to enchant again. Do 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 do. Was it cursed? We shall see. And this gives evade. So it's not very useful to put on Ironheart. Because, like I said earlier, tanks have negatives. Like, they have very little evade. See? And if we level him up, it's not going to be that helpful. But he does gain armor. 2 armor. Right? But this is a green item. We generally want to get rid of our greens. So where do we put it? Frankly, this is probably the best place. Probably this enchanted ring. We have plenty of mana. We're not too worried. We'd rather do this. And it was cursed. There it is. Golden enchant. So now this item is giving Joey 16% evade, 5% accuracy, automatic first dodge, and healing power. It's 3 healing, 6 evade. Like, this, for instance, is 1 and 3. And this guy's 5% crit. So, that's actually one of the weaker golden enchants I've seen. They're very good. We did not enchant this guy. Do we want to swap it? I think we do. Oh, we can't. Doubling up. Right. That's fine. Was there a forge? This was the urn. We're going to throw the ring away into the urn, see what happens. Maybe we'll get a relic. Again, a taunter. Ridiculous. We do have an agility, though. We're going to incise this guy. And I think... yeah, we'll dump this on the same guy. That's what we're going to do. And we want to grab that Shadow Slash. So... we get the curtain. That's why I don't like the curtain. Gets in the way. Every time. Gets in the way. We don't have a free targetable ability. So... we're going to taunt that guy. That's interesting. Cast attack ally that deals 8 damage to one ally at the start of the turn. Interesting. Now that is the CC category that has stun in it, so we can't cure it. Unfortunately. If we had already used protective gas, it would be alright. But it's just one time, 8 damage. Oh, now we have a stun. We have no Trisha cards, but we have an active Eve over here. How useful would it be to get that? Well, this won't remove it. We have to rotate one of these. And we don't get to draw when we do that, unfortunately. Hard choices. I think I would rather use the Shadow Slash. Instead of activating Eve, we're going to try to get rid of this guy. Although it's a 7, well, yeah, he already went, so he's not going to go. And he's got higher crit chance. This guy has evade naturally. So I'm a bit skittish to throw attacks at him. This is hurting. We absolutely have to get rid of this guy on this turn. So we shall. We have a protective shield. Don't really need a basic attack. We got a knot in my sight. I don't think this activates. Yeah, it's a party thing, so it doesn't activate. But we can still double Shadow Slash if needed. Swiftness. We have 2 swiftness. We'll use 1 for now. Get that temporary bonus for the stage. Strange Jar. Yeah, we don't really need 2 of these. Didn't get anything. Well. Nothing. Well, let's try one of these. Assassin Ring. Curious. Don't think it's better than the other, but it's better than a useless item, I suppose. We already have an Assassin's Ring, so we can't double up on it for her, and we have this amazing thing and this amazing thing here. So the only thing we could do is put it here to replace his healing, but how much is it? It's 3 points of healing power. For crit chance, crit damage. But he's not attacking, right? So perhaps we'll reforge this. Perhaps. With the Sun Cape. Yeah, that would be a good idea. If there's a forge, we'll do that. We have 9. Yeah, we might as well. More mana means more attacks with that absurd combo at the beginning of a fight. What else was there? An enchant table. Yeah, what's left at the shop? I always do this. I double back, double check the shop. We could get a book to throw into the volcano. Help Eve, Smog. Don't really want the Smog. We got the Shadow Slash. So we're going to Agility the Protective Shield. Just because. We already re-rolled. So do we just go to town or do we incise first? I think we incise first. But it doesn't hurt to Shadow Slash the guy first. Yeah. This guy has a bit of dodge and armor. Everybody, look at this. 15 armor, 14 evade, 19 evade. These guys, ridiculous. Help Eve. Shadow Slash. Crushed. 68. Are you seeing the numbers? Do you see how ridiculous this is? 68. Just not even right. Yep, not even right. Hey, a healer showed up. What do you know? What do you know? Well, this is free, technically. And this is free. Although I did that a little out of order. I should have grabbed first. Not a big deal. More trash for the volcano. What do we got? Lifting. Another lifting. A pill, finally. Useful for the other two categories of debuff. There's nothing over here, right? Right. Okay. So where do you guys suppose that hidden one is? I want to say it's here, or here, or here. So I'm going to go here first. We're going to utilize our lifting scroll. Nothing. Okay. Well, how about here? There it is. 1,000 gold. This is really just too much money. I have too much money. I had too much. Let's just buy it all. Why not? Just buy all of it. And we'll go throw it away. This is an okay item, but we really have no need for the identification scroll. We really don't. Well, we threw it away. We still have 5 time orbs. 2 guys are level 2. We're at 7 mana. I think just the final boss is left. Let's go here. Let's see if we can... Yeah, okay. Protective shield. This is what converts... See, this converts barriers on an allied character into 1. We have 2 not in my sight. We have a protective shield. Let's do it. Let's take another protective barrier. This is a very useful tool with this setup. Is there anything that needs enchanting? We definitely have the money. I guess we could hit that. We could hit those 2. Max health minus 10. He would lose 40% health if I put that on? Okay. Yeah, we'll enchant this. Why not? After the freebie, this never changes. It's just 400 gold. Pretty hefty. More evade. My goodness. 29%. That's all he has. I heard evade's 22. And you would think his is much higher, but he's lower level. 21. He has 21 evade from his items. Huh. Not too shabby. Is it the Grim Reaper? It's the Grim Reaper. Final boss. Now this guy is very troublesome. If I beat him, there'll be a bit of RNG involved. Bit of luck. We did not get the agility card. We have Help Eve, we have Shadow Slash. He has Taunt. So we're going to start with the Shadow Slash because we have a bunch of energy. We're just Shadow Slash him twice. We'll follow up with the Incise. And then we're going to use Help Eve. We have Protective Barrier. We're going to utilize that this turn just to show you what's up with that. And then we could Help Eve again, or we can Shadow Slash. And this is a bit of a DPS race. Okay, it is definitely a bit of a DPS race. Not only that, but you see there's an icon. On bosses, you always got to pay attention. New icons popping up. This boss is incredibly difficult because of this ability. He applies a mark, a debuff that you can't resist, you can't get rid of, onto a target. At the end of each of your turns. And it's based on whichever skill is at the top of your hand. And that debuff does 5 damage a turn to the person who has it. However, if the same person gets this mark twice, they're dead. Like, your whole party is dead. That's just how it works. He does damage to the target, and then ignores armor onto adjacent targets, doing about 22 to 30 damage. Doing, I think, 40 to 50 to the main target. It's ridiculous. It's just absurd how much damage. So you have to manage what card is at the top of your hand in this fight. That's the main purpose. That's what you have to focus on in this fight. And all the bosses in this game, a lot of the bosses are sort of like that. You have to watch what they do specifically and manage their mechanic. So I actually want to spread that debuff to all 4 people. That's what I have to do. We're going to hit that debuff. That. So we used Protect Eve twice, or I'm sorry, Help Eve twice over here and got 16 barrier. And that became 32. Good dodge. Oh, he dodged. Oh, interesting. I've never had that happen before. The mark, the death sentence mark got dodged. Never had that happen. So evade is actually really good for this final fight. Interesting. Interesting. We can leave this at the top of our hand. So, let's see. We'll start with a Help Eve. We got a Shadow Stab. We just have to. And we can utilize this to pull out, I guess, a Shadow Curtain. We do want to taunt him. But we really want this to be free next turn. So we're going to utilize the Not in My Sight. And then we're going to utilize our taunt. Yep, and that's it. That's it for that turn. So he just stunned. And Mark of Death. Got resisted. You can resist it too. Well, yeah, I'm learning a bunch about this fight. Dude, I'm doing so well this fight. My goodness. But we do have a stun. And we do not like that stun. However, we have no cards to use with him. So we're going to let this stun wear off on its own. Because we have better things to do. So, no Shadow Slash, right? We have no Shadow Slash. We would like to gain a Shadow Slash. So we're going to Shadow Curtain here to get Eve active, right? And then we're going to apply this here. Because he's at the top, and now he's guaranteed to dodge, he should dodge that ability. But in the meantime, we have to eliminate our ads. We have a Regenerate Wounds to reactivate for free. And so we can hit him again. And we can... Oh, it's Protecting Gas. Yeah. Reroll. That's it. That's all we got. He's going to get to act. Oh well. So Breathtaker gets dodged. Death Sentence does not get dodged or resisted this time. But we're doing well that we avoided 2 already. Right. So now we want somebody else to get the mark. That means we have to use this protective gas. We just have to. And the Not in My Sight is inactive. So we're going to use the Not in My Sight again as well. We're going to try to pull an attack. We get a Shadow Stab. Very good. And he hits with his Death Scythe. Not a big deal. Get rid of the add. Buff our damage. Sounds good. Do we protective? Do we healing pot though? I don't think we do. And reroll. We got an incise. We could save it for next turn. Or we could use it now. I think we'll save it. We'll save it. So now he's death sentence because protective shield is up. And they're taking damage. So now we actually want somebody else to be on top. Right? Not these two. One of these two has to go to the top. And I don't really want to use this weakening smog on one target. So we're going to start with, I think we're going to incise the heck out of him. Sounds about right. And we can actually regenerate wound and get one back. We have to save the Shadow Slash, right? No, we don't. We have 9 cards. Okay. So we'll hit there. We'll do this again to pull that. And then we'll Protective Shield for 49. Very nice. And we could taunt him as well. Dodged. Doesn't attack and summons an ad. Pretty ridiculous. But we got free damage enough to kill that ad. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? This is such a nice comp. So now we've given the Mark of Death to Trisha. And that means this should have 1 or 2. Yep, it's down to 1 turn left. Right? So lastly, we want to apply the mark to her. Unfortunately, we don't have a card for her. We do not have a card for her. And so I think he applies it randomly. This is going to hurt. Or, well, we could keep the healing potion. There's a good chance that that actually works just fine there. We will play the Not in My Sight. And we'll keep the healing potion. Why not? We'll Shadow Slash. He dodged. Try to pull another one. Don't have one. Alright. Well, unfortunately, it didn't go away. So, there's the damage he does. You saw that? 20, 20, 30, 20. My barrier's gone. Everybody is severely hurt. That's what happens when he hits somebody with the mark already on them. Unfortunately, we can't utilize this Help Eve. We can't do it. Well, we do want to heal a bit. Now's a good time. It's the boss. It's the final boss. We'll get rid of the stun. I think we'll use this. Again, 4 cards. Nothing left in the deck for her to grab, unfortunately. But we can Healing Hands this guy. Taunt her. But we whiffed with the taunt. That's not good. Gotta Healing her, because she's going to be taking some damage. Yep. Ouch. 9 damage a turn. Well, we don't want that. Get rid of the toxic. There's the 4th mark. Finally, we can now hold on to him. One of his cards. We have to rotate this around pretty ridiculously. We have a 0 cost Help Eve. We still haven't reshuffled our deck though. So what we're going to do, I think, is Incise and Help Eve. Right? And we're going to Help Eve over here to try to taunt again. She has a 24% chance of evade. We got some XCOM dodges going on here. Pretty disgusting. We have 4 mana. We can just hand around shields. Don't want to use the Not in My Sight because we have to make sure that mark goes where it's supposed to go. Who's the lowest? Well, he's going to be taking the most damage, but he's at full life practically. There it is. Once somebody faints in this fight, it becomes exponentially harder to manage all the DPS he deals. Finally, we reshuffled. Finally. And we have to hold on to a Trisha card. That's not good. So we'll play this for free because we can. And we don't want her getting the mark, so it's time to start using this. But we do have to have a Trisha card, unfortunately. Yep. So we'll play that. He goes. We'll play Resuscitation on somebody. And then we'll use Help Eve again. I suppose here. Her passive is active too, which is unfortunate because the cost of this card is going to get reduced by this. But it's already been reduced to 0. So one more barrier. Perfect. Okay, we got his card. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. So we have Incises. We're going to Shadow Slash somebody. Yeah, that looked good. And then we're going to pull another of her cards from the deck. And she's going to Incise for free damage. Gotta slowly whittle this guy down, unfortunately. We'll punch him. And we'll... Oh, it's a default Shadow Slash. Yeah, we don't want to throw that away. If we use it, it'll go away because he's not at full. And we need to hang on to everything. She's at death's door, thanks to that poison. Yikes. $11 per turn. Ridiculous. So now we have to hold on to a Help Eve. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our Shadow Slash. Right? Yeah. Increase the crit chance against him. Use her heal again. Get rid of that poison. Bring Eve back. Didn't grab a card, unfortunately. We wanted to hit him again, but we want to keep her away from death's door. So we have plenty of mana. We're going to use Healing Hands. Other ally, I see. To give him the doll so he can smash. And finally, Embrittle. So we get a stun put on her. And a new character shows up. Should have saved it, I guess. Should have saved that Shadow Slash. If for some reason he has an AoE attack as well, we know we can't grab a card out of our deck that is one of her attacks. So it's better if we heal with other means. She's stunned, and I guess we could do this. We throw it away to unstun her. We activate Eve. And we get bleeding. That's not good. Well, we're going to save that. Well, not really. There we go. Plenty of energy left. We can only use one of these other 3 fixed skills. So we're going to reach for... This heals a lot more, but this removes this debuff because it's a pain debuff. So, I'm going to get rid of the pain debuff. And we have to end turn to make sure he gets all the nastiness. Now would be a good time to use a couple potions, I suppose. Just in case he tries to AoE again. Yeah. Epigon. The ads are pretty bad. So now who gets it? She does. Right. Well, it's pretty much all or nothing at this point. We could start with a knot in my sight. That's a pretty good idea. We could pull an attack. The Shadow Slash. And remove her bleed. We gotta kill this thing. Really gotta kill that thing. And... oh, I didn't want to use her ability. Rest in pepperonis. Shuffle. Yikes. Well, people are gonna die. This is where people are going to die. And it's gonna be random on who he hits. So... we may as well use up everything and hope that we're very close. Oh! Surprisingly, we lived. He's at 38. And there's our Epigon with a stun. Yikes. I wish we could look at our deck. Unfortunately, we cannot. So what we're going to do is we're going to heal here. Because we want to kill this guy. We have to kill this guy. This turn, basically. Now, we actually get a free attack here. So we're going to utilize it. Now, we killed him, but the fight is not over, ladies and gents. And this is actually really close to a wipe. If we didn't have the spare card here. Because of these, and this guy's not dead yet, these marks are still here doing damage. So she would die next turn. And he would be very close. He's taking 11 and 6. He would die next turn. He's at death's door, would probably get hit. But thankfully, we can throw that away. And now it all rides on this one attack with a 24% dodge. Okay. Some people are dead. He went to negative 32. You see that? Negative 32. And it's a wipe. For some reason, we died to fog damage. Yep. There you have it. End of one run. I hope you learned a lot in this run. That was my 20th run in the game. And I've unlocked every character so far. With a little patience and a lot of attention to detail, you can easily beat beat this game. Well, get to the last boss, I should say. You can't easily beat it. It took at least 5 attempts for me to finish that final boss. So, yeah, keep gaming, have fun, and keep in touch.